my name is Angela Scarborough, and this is my Interpersonal Communication Project for Human Services at Liberty University. Next slide. Throughout this presentation, I'm going to define interpersonal communication. I'm going to give you my definition of enlarging the conversation. I'm going to discuss my overarching goal. I'm going to share with you how my background may have shaped both the negative and positive aspects of my behavioral blend. I'm going to define personal barriers in my interpersonal communication and how I'll deal with them in order to become a successful communicator. I will identify and provide solutions to both internal and external noise pollution, and I will give you my action plan to obtain my overarching goal. Next slide. What is interpersonal communication? According to Stewart, interpersonal communication is a kind of communication that happens when people involved talk and listen in ways that maximize the presence of the personal. Next slide. What does interpersonal communication involve? Interpersonal communication, it consists of trust, acceptance, empathy, genuineness, warmth, and it fosters happiness and satisfaction in one's life. There is meaning and feeling within the conversation. Within the dialogue, one person is talking, which is exhaling, and the other person is listening, which is inhaling. And there's also both verbal and nonverbal communication. Next slide. Enlarging the conversation. Throughout this course, I've come to my own definition of what enlarging the conversation means. And to me, it's more than just talking and listening. It's connecting at a level that enhances your knowledge and comprehension, and your perception and your relationships, and ultimately your life. Enlarging the conversation involves open communication, disclosure, empathy, genuineness, mutual understanding, clarity, recognizing and embracing people's differences. Next slide. My overarching goal. I would like to be confident and comfortable enough to self-disclose with individuals in order to develop healthy and meaningful relationships. Next slide. Benefits of being able to self-disclose. It builds and strengthens relationships. It expands your self-awareness and understanding of self. Self-disclosure can be a freeing experience. Self-disclosure can help develop a sense of self-worth. Self-disclosure can make sense of experiences as well as reduce stress and its emotional impacts. Next slide. My background. I'm the youngest of 3 children. I grew up in a relatively dysfunctional household. I didn't feel the same positive treatment that I had witnessed my siblings had received. I was overweight from childhood to about the age of 30. I was very much an introvert, and I have yet to experience friendship on a deep interpersonal level. So why am I giving you this information about my background? In the book, Listening, the Forgotten Skill, it discusses about your childhood and negative experiences that you have, and that it can go well into your adulthood. And within this presentation, you will see how my childhood has definitely impacted my adulthood. Next slide. Behavioral blends. There are 4 different categories. There's D, I, S, and C. Generally, everybody has about 2, at least 2 blends. According to my Uniquely You report, my DISC behavioral blend is what people expect of me. I'm a CS, and what I actually am is a CIS. I took another test, the Interpersonal Communication Skills Test, and I scored a 92, which I feel is pretty good, but there's always room for improvement, and a 92 means that I'm insightful. It means that I'm able to see things from others' perspectives. I'm proficient at interpreting people's words and actions. Empathy is essential, and I will be able to place myself in others' shoes. Next slide. Making sense of my behavioral blends. How has my background and blend influenced my conversations? Here's where you'll see where my childhood has played a part in my blend. positive aspects. I'm passionate about supporting and inspiring others. I care about other people's concerns. I'm warm on an individual basis. I'm sensitive to people's needs. I'm inquisitive, and I'm knowledgeable on many subjects. Negative aspects. I lack confidence. I'm not sociable. I'm very much reserved. I can be intimidated. I'm overly emotional. I'm a people pleaser, and I lack assertiveness. Now, in the reading, it states that usually people with a negative background will also, in the reading, for me, it's kind of contradictory. It says that children that don't have good experience with communication and have a poor background tend to grow up having poor listening skills. However, I see that as different for myself because I was not listened to as a child, and I make the extra effort to listen to other people. However, the negative aspects are very much true. Next slide. My greatest barrier: failure to express myself. I have a tendency to be intimidated by people, especially people who are assertive and individuals of authority. Expressing myself to individuals other than my family is basically non-existent. I suppress my feelings, thoughts, wants, needs, concerns, and frustrations to avoid conflict, and really because I believe that no one would really be interested in what I have to say. Next slide. Overcoming my barrier. I need to be mindful of my negative internal dialogue. I need to reach a level of self-acceptance in order to become my own best friend instead of my worst enemy. If I think it or feel it, I need to remember that I am entitled to say it. I need to gain courage to express myself authentically. And I need to remember that no one person is superior or more important than another. We are all equal in God's eyes. Next slide. Noise pollution. Noise is considered to be anything that hinders a listener's ability to receive a message. Noise can cause issues such as problems with concentration, fatigue, uncertainty, lack of self-confidence, irritation, misunderstandings, decreased working capacity, disturbed interpersonal relationships, and stress reactions. Internal noise consists of being judgmental, fast thinking, and biased listening. External noise consists of phone calls, a ticking clock, or activities outside your window. Next slide. Solution to noise pollution. Internally. Being judgmental. You need to keep an open mind and need to understand the individual's point of view. Fast thinking. You need to remain conscious of what the talker is saying at all times. Bias listening. You need to be aware of your own biases and stay in the here and now. External pollution. Phone calls. You can turn your phone off or put it on silent. A ticking clock. You can invest in a digital clock. Activities outside your window. You can close the blinds or you can rearrange the seating. Next slide. My plan of action to obtain my goal. First off, I need to become self-accepting, and I need to accept the things that I don't like about myself, and I need to relinquish the need for approval from others. Secondly, I need to work on my public self. When I'm out in public, I tend to be so preoccupied about what people are thinking of me, if they're judging me, that I can't enjoy myself. I need to become more social. And I need to engage in interpersonal relationships. And then when all this takes place, then self-disclosure will occur. hard to self-disclose when you have no interpersonal relationships. Next slide. Thank you for listening to my interpersonal communication project. I've thoroughly enjoyed your course, and I've learned a great deal about myself. Thank you.